Grand Theft Auto 5 is a sprawling, breathing ecosystem of crime, chaos, and dark humor, and one of the most praised open-world games of all time. You'll move between three protagonists whose lives meet in unexpected ways, but each with distinct personalities that shape every mission. The different characters offer contrasting perspectives on crime and morality, letting players experience the city of Los Santos from multiple angles. From executing elaborate heists in the city to cycling dusty back roads on a stolen bike, the world feels incredibly lived in. Streets, wilderness, and towns packed with detail that rewards curiosity. Streets teem with pedestrians, traffic flows realistically, and hidden nooks reward curious explorers. Every corner feels designed to encourage experimentation and improvisation. Honestly, things like cruising down Vinewood Boulevard or hiking up Mount Chiliad never get old. The open world thrives on choice and improvisation. You can follow the story or chase side adventures, hunting, racing, stock market investments, customizing your vehicle, or just wandering the city at night while listening to its radio stations. The online mode extends the sandbox endlessly, letting you sculpt your own criminal empire or just mess around with friends. Ghost of Tsushima turns feudal Japan into a living, immersive world, from mist-shrouded forests and golden rice fields to jagged, wind-swept coastlines. You take on the role of Jin Sakai, a samurai caught between tradition and necessity as Mongol invaders sweep across Tsushima, forcing him to question what it truly means to honor his code. Combat is both elegant and demanding. Swordplay requires timing and precision, while stealth and strategy allow for creative approaches to every encounter. Each duel, ambush, and skirmish is a dance of risk and reward, rewarding patience and tactical thinking over pure aggression. Beyond the main story, every mountain trail, hidden shrine, and remote village has secrets to discover. Bandit hideouts, wandering spirits, and foxes leading to sacred shrines all create small, interconnected stories that make the island feel lived in. Side activities and random encounters aren't just filler, they deepen the narrative and give the world texture, making each moment memorable. My verdict? The combination of story, setting, and combat makes wandering the islands an experience you won't forget.
Skyrim is one of the best action RPGs ever made. Players experience the frozen, rugged province of Tamriel, a land brimming with dragons, political intrigue, and endless adventure. You create your own hero, choosing race, skills, and alignment, and then step into a massive, reactive open world where every mountain, cave, and village has stories to uncover. Combat balances swordplay, magic, and archery, giving you the flexibility to craft a playstyle that feels personal. The world reacts to your choices subtly. Townsfolk gossip, factions shift, and rumors spread across the land.
Days Gone is among the best games in the survival horror genre. You'll be faced with a desolate Pacific Northwest, where civilization has collapsed under the weight of a viral outbreak. You play Deacon St. John, a drifter biker haunted by loss, scavenging the open world while facing swarms of unpredictable freakers and hostile humans. The game excels in dynamic world building. Weather and day-night cycles affect visibility and enemy behavior, while roaming hordes feel alive, forcing strategy and planning. Riding your motorcycle is both survival and spectacle, with fuel management, customization, and upgrades adding weight to every journey. Side missions and encounters feel personal, revealing the fractured humanity of a society on the brink.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey immerses players in ancient Greece at the height of its civilization, blending myth, history, and sprawling landscapes. You choose to play as Alexios or Cassandra, shaping their journey through choice-driven narratives and multiple endings. Combat is fluid and strategic, mixing melee, ranged attacks, and special abilities, while naval exploration adds scale and spectacle to your travels. Side quests and character interactions are deeply layered, rewarding curiosity with hidden stories and unique encounters.
The Aegean Sea is alive with trade, conflict, and discovery, and each region boasts distinct visual flair and environmental storytelling. Odyssey captures the tension between freedom and consequence. Every decision ripples through the world.
Far Cry 5 is set in rural Montana under the grip of a doomsday cult, blending explosive action with sandbox freedom. Missions are rarely linear. You can tackle objectives stealthily, gun blazing, or by turning the world against itself. The map is scattered with wildlife, hidden bunkers, and emergent events that make the environment feel alive and unpredictable. Vehicles and weaponry span everything from off-road trucks to helicopters, letting players approach scenarios creatively. Side missions and the expansive open world reward exploration, while dynamic weather and day-night cycles influence both combat and mood. It's a mix of the best FPS action and environmental storytelling, with humor and tension coexisting in the chaos.
Mafia 3 immerses players in 1968 New Bordeaux, a reimagined New Orleans, alive with jazz, neon signs, and simmering racial tensions. You step into the shoes of Lincoln Clay, a Vietnam veteran bent on dismantling the mob that betrayed him. But revenge here isn't just gunfire. The world reacts to your choices, and each neighborhood feels distinct, full of story threads, side missions, and cultural detail. Combat mixes stealth, strategy, and full-on chaos, while the city's rich design encourages exploration, from quiet back alleys to vibrant waterfronts. Vehicles and weapon customization add tactical variety, and the soundtrack of period hits injects cinematic energy into every chase or firefight. Unlike more straightforward action games, Mafia 3 makes the world pulse with consequence, letting moral choices ripple across your criminal empire. It's one of the best Mafia games in the series. Horizon Zero Dawn thrusts players into a post-apocalyptic world dominated by robotic creatures, where nature has reclaimed the ruins of human civilization. You follow Aloy, a resourceful hunter with a mysterious past, across sweeping landscapes that range from lush forests to arid deserts. The game balances cinematic storytelling with open-world exploration, letting you climb, sneak, and fight your way through richly detailed environments. Combat is tactical and rewarding. Exploit enemy weaknesses, craft specialized ammunition, and coordinate attacks against towering machines. Side quests, collectible lore, and hidden camps deepen the sense of a living, breathing world. The visuals are stunning, with dynamic weather and day-night cycles that affect both strategy and atmosphere. At the same time, the narrative weaves themes of discovery, identity, and survival into the gameplay, giving players reason to linger off the beaten path. Unlike more linear open-world titles, every encounter, from small robot skirmishes to massive battles, feels alive and consequential.
Red Dead Redemption is the prequel to RDR2, capturing the final days of the Wild West with grit and gravitas. You played John Marston, a former outlaw pulled back into a life he thought he'd left behind. The game combines cinematic narrative with open world's freedom, allowing you to ride across deserts, mountains, and bustling towns while hunting, dueling, and making morally complex choices. Side activities, from poker to bounty hunting, feel organic, and the dynamic weather and day-night cycles influence both strategy and immersion. The story is leaner than RDR2, but packed with character-driven drama, delivering emotional beats that linger long after the credits roll.
Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain throws you into a sprawling, sun-bleached Afghanistan and African desert, where stealth is rewarded as much as bold action. You take control of Venom Snake, orchestrating missions with freedom rarely seen in the AAA title. Approach targets from the air, land, or shadows. Base management and buddy systems add layered strategy, making the open world feel alive even when you're away from missions. The narrative threads are dark, cinematic, and often unsettling, while side missions allow for emergent stories that feel personal rather than scripted. Visuals and sound design heighten tension, turning each infiltration into a cinematic, edge-of-your-seat experience. Just Cause 4 is pure, unhinged chaos wrapped in a sun-scorched South American landscape. Rico Rodriguez returns with his grappling hook, wingsuit, and parachute, tools that turn traversal into a creative playground. Every building, vehicle, and object can be destroyed, letting you invent your own cinematic stunts. Story missions tie loosely to the game's narrative, but the joy comes from experimenting, blowing up military bases, launching vehicles into the air, or creating chain reactions just for spectacle.
In Watch Dogs 2, you'll explore a sun-drenched, living San Francisco where every device is a potential tool. You play as Marcus Holloway, a brilliant hacker in DedSec, blending stealth, tech, and parkour to disrupt corrupt systems. Missions reward creativity, manipulate traffic, drones, cameras, or phones to outsmart enemies without ever firing a bullet. Storylines mix humor with socio-political commentary, grounding the experience in a modern, relatable setting. Side activities range from races to cooperative challenges, keeping players engaged long after the main plot.
Cyberpunk 2077 immerses you in Night City, a neon-soaked metropolis buzzing with danger and opportunity. You play as V, a mercenary navigating gang politics, corporate intrigue, and personal ambition. Choices ripple through the world, affecting storylines, NPCs, and the city itself, giving a tangible sense of agency reminiscent of Red Dead Redemption 2's moral depth. Exploration is rich. Rooftops, alleys, and hidden districts reward curiosity. Combat is fluid, mixing guns, melee, and cybernetic abilities. Side quests are cinematic, often telling intimate stories that feel alive rather than filler. Dialogue and decision-making are crucial. Alliances, romances, and rivalries all hinge on player choice. Subtle details, from street chatter to hacking opportunities, make Night City pulse with realism.
Kingdom Come: Deliverance is a detailed 15th century Bohemia, a world with no magic, only swords, politics, and survival. You play as Henry, a blacksmith's son caught in a war-torn land. Every choice matters. Decisions influence storylines, reputation, and how NPCs react, giving a grounded moral weight that fans of Red Dead Redemption 2 will appreciate. Combat is unforgiving, emphasizing timing, weapon type, and skill rather than flashy stats. Exploration rewards patience. Villages, forests, and castles are packed with historical detail. The world reacts realistically. Hunger, sleep, and injuries affect performance, and the slow pace encourages strategic thinking. NPC routines and dynamic events create a living, breathing medieval society.